Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of the week. I am your host, Ilham Məmmədov. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham received Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey, Mevlut Çavuşoğlu. President İlham received Executive Director of the United Nations Human Settlements Program, Maymuna Sharif. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham received Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey, Mevlut Çavuşoğlu. Welcoming the Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, President İlham said he was glad to have the opportunity to meet again. Expressing his confidence that they will exchange views on the future development of Turkish-Azerbaijani allied relations, the other side added that in 3 months the first anniversary of the Shusha Declaration will be celebrated and called this a historic document. Noting that Turkish-Azerbaijani relations were at the level of alliance, and alliance was in the hearts of our peoples, President İlham added that today and in the years to come, Turkish-Azerbaijani fraternal relations will always be of great importance for both our peoples and the region, because our relations are of great importance not only in the bilateral format, but also for regional security. Underlining that through joint efforts, Turkey and Azerbaijan are contributing to the future development of our region, ensuring security and well-being of our peoples, the head of state added that the relations between the two countries are so diverse that it will take a long time to list each aspect of these relations. We're literally allies and brothers, and there is no relationship in the world that would be similar to ours. There are no other countries in the world that would be more attached to each other than Turkey and Azerbaijan, said President İlham and called this a great asset which both sides are protecting and strengthening, saying that both countries are ready for any situation and always stand with each other. The head of state noted that they were in constant contact with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Thanking the president for receiving him, Mevlut Çavuşoğlu expressed his gratitude and conveyed the sincere greetings of President Erdogan, saying it was President İlham idea to prepare and sign the Shusha Declaration and that the foreign ministers of both countries worked on it, and about a year ago President İlham together with President Erdogan signed it. The Foreign Affairs Minister of Turkey added that the endorsement of this document by both national assemblies about a month ago, with a difference of 2 days, further strengthened the resolve that had been expressed. Stating that the Shusha Declaration was well worthy of the notion of one nation, two states, Mevlut Çavuşoğlu added that they were working to implement the issues reflected in it, underlining that the strengthening of relations between the two countries will be very useful not only for reinforcing the relations between the two countries and peoples, but also for the stability and peace in the region. Mevlut Çavuşoğlu stressed that for this reason, they would work in trilateral and quadrilateral formats to ensure that the issues contained in the Shusha Declaration are reflected in relations of both countries with the countries of the region. Of course, important processes are taking place in our region, and these processes have implications. In addition, there are important projects that you will implement, including the Zangezur corridor. I came to Baku today to provide information about the work we have done on all these issues and to evaluate what further steps we will take together. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you again, Mr. President, said Mevlut Çavuşoğlu. President of Azerbaijan İlham thanked for Recep Tayyip Erdogan's greetings and asked the minister to extend his greetings to the Turkish president. President İlham received Executive Director of the United Nations Human Settlement Program, Maymuna Sharif.
Welcome, very glad to see you.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that you are visiting us. You know that we are a very active member of United Nations, and with different United Nations institutions, we cooperate very successfully. And I'm glad that you are the Executive Director of United Nations Human Settlement Program, Habitat, visiting us. I know that you promote the values of equality, reduction of poverty, and urbanization. So you probably are aware about the figures with respect to reduction of poverty. We, I think, managed to successfully cope with this global disease, and the level of poverty in Azerbaijan is around 5%, which demonstrates that we managed to use properly the revenues from energy sector to have an even distribution of the wealth. And of course, new opportunities with respect to economic reforms, employment will of course create a new picture in Azerbaijan because our population is growing, therefore issues related to employment and of course poverty level, which is directly linked to that, are of special importance. I'm grateful that you visited the liberated territories. I know that you've been in Agdam and saw yourself the scope of devastation. And I can assure you that in all the liberated territories, the picture is the same. Total destruction, devastation, vandalism, barbarism, and as a result, Agdam do not exist. The city, which was a place for tens of thousands of people, now in ruins. And this was done by Armenians, by Armenian criminal regime during the years of occupation, almost 30 years. It was a deliberate, planned demolition of our cities and villages, historical, religious monuments, in order to wipe off the traces of Azerbaijani culture and history. But our liberation war demonstrated that sooner or later justice will prevail. You must be patient. At the same time, you must be committed to your country, and you must work every day in order to achieve the goal. And our war was a liberation war. We put an end to occupation, put an end to forces of evil on our land. And probably you've been informed that Armenians also desecrated and destroyed our religious monuments. 65 mosques have been totally destroyed, and in 2 remaining they kept pigs and cows, insulting the feelings of all the Muslims of the world. Unfortunately, the international community was silent during all these years of occupation, though, as you know, United Nations Security Council and General Assembly and other international institutions, important international institutions, adopted resolutions and decisions supporting our position. There was no serious pressure on Armenia. No sanctions were imposed on Armenia. And even some countries tried to put on the same scale the aggressor and the victim of aggression. And that was one of the main reasons why Armenians kept these territories for so long. And if not for our courage and patriotism and force, this occupation would have continued. Because it seemed to us that international organizations already adjusted themselves to this situation. A Minsk group, as a group of strange tourists, was visiting us several times a year with these useless negotiations. And now it's clear that these negotiations was only a kind of a curtain behind which Armenia tried to seal the results of occupation. They were changing the names of our cities and villages. They were doing everything in order that the world forgets about occupation. But Azerbaijani people did not forget. None of us forgot, and all of us as one were ready to sacrifice our lives to liberate our historic motherland. And it happened. And now we have a big challenge in front of us. I'm sure you've been informed about our plans, and probably you've seen some already visible part of our reconstruction process. It's a huge task. So far, we did not receive any dollar of international assistance, neither from international organizations nor from any country of the world. All what we are doing at our own expense. And we will continue to do it, but of course it is strange that after almost 1.5 years after the liberation of the territories, no one is willing to help us. Only words, nothing more. No donor conference idea, no financial support. Even the famous non-governmental organizations, the famous international foundations, they turn a blind eye on what has happened in Karabakh and Zangezur. This is regrettable. We will reconstruct the territories and create, as I said, an example of heaven on earth in Karabakh and Zangezur. We will do it at any cost. But I think that this ignorance of international organizations, donor organizations, big foundations is unacceptable. We hope that United Nations will support us through its organizations and through its channels of communication, will deliver this important message that Azerbaijan needs to be supported. Your visit we consider as a sign of that support. I'm sure you will report about what you've seen there. Because one thing is to hear, to know, to read, another thing when you come and see with your own eyes. And also, of course, it's important that the world knows about Armenian barbarism. This should be punished. We punished them during the war, the way that they will never forget. But they should be also international punishment for aggressor. And of course, the reparations. We demand reparations. We already hired international institutions, some lawyer groups, in order to help us to raise this issue in international arena. So these are the plans, and I think for the next year program we need to adjust in our cooperation this important new reality which created on the ground. The return of the internally displaced persons on the liberated territories is now not possible because of the landmines, and we already have, unfortunately, more than 200 people killed or severely injured because of the landmines, and also cleaning these mines needs a lot of expertise and technical capability. Also we need to create decent conditions for those who will go back and the process of start. So I'm sure that you will visit us again, because this is really a very important issue, I think, on the global arena, and the way how we will reconstruct the territory, which is same size of the territory of Lebanon, I think will be a good example for other countries which suffer from occupation, devastation, and other serious problems. So we can be a model, I'm sure, for all other countries which are facing or faced the same problems we did. Once again, welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Saying that she was visiting our country for the first time, Maymuna Mohd-Sharif, the executive director of the UN Human Settlements Program, said she was deeply impressed by the development processes ongoing in Azerbaijan under the leadership of President Ilham Aliyev, as well as the concept of town planning and development. Maymuna Mohd-Sharif noted that Azerbaijan had a combination of antiquity and modernity, that modern buildings were in harmony with historical sites, adding that she was pleased with the modern urban transport and road infrastructure, which is an integral part of urban planning and urbanization. Noting that she had spent a day in Agdam, the executive director of the UN Human Settlements Program said she had familiarized herself with the development and urbanization plan of Agdam implemented by the Azerbaijani government under the leadership of the president. Maymuna Mohd-Sharif hailed Azerbaijan's goal to implement a modern eco-city concept with zero emissions in the liberated territories, including Agdam. She noted that the UN Human Settlements Program supported the construction of cities in post-conflict conditions and sustainable urban development concepts in various countries around the world, and was ready to work closely with the Azerbaijani government in this regard. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, received President of the World Ethnosport Confederation, Bilal Erdogan. President of the World Ethnosport Confederation, Bilal Erdogan, extended Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's greetings to President Ilham Aliyev. President Ilham Aliyev thanked for Recep Tayyip Erdogan's greetings and asked Bilal Erdogan to extend his greetings to the Turkish president. The sites underlined the importance of the Baku-hosted 5th International Ethnosport Forum under the motto, "The Reviving Traditional Sports," and hailed the excellent organization of the event. The Azerbaijani people's great interest in traditional sports was pointed out at the meeting. The sides expressed confidence that this event would contribute to the expansion of international cooperation in the field of sports. Bilal Erdogan then presented the Leadership Award within the Traditional Sports Award of the World Ethnosport Confederation to President Ilham Aliyev for his services in global recognition and increasing the popularization of ethnosports and games, his leadership, selfless approach to the development of traditional sports, and his constant active support for sports and athletes. President Ilham Aliyev received in a video format Minister of Energy of Romania, Virgil Daniel Popescu, and Special Envoy for Strategic and International Affairs, Ana Berchal. Minister of Energy of Romania, Virgil Daniel Popescu, pointed to the letter of President of Romania, Klaus Iohannis, to President Ilham Aliyev on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations and the invitation of the President to visit Romania. The head of state asked the minister to extend his gratitude to the Romanian President for the letter. During the conversation, the sides noted that relations between Azerbaijan and Romania are based on the principles of strategic partnership, and in this regard underlined the importance of the signed joint declaration on strategic partnership. They expressed confidence that Virgil Daniel Popescu's visit to Azerbaijan would contribute to the expansion of energy cooperation between the two countries. The sides pointed out the Azerbaijan-European Union relations at the meeting. They hailed the successful development of bilateral ties and described the signing of documents on strategic partnership between Azerbaijan and 9 EU member states as a good indicator of this. The sides exchanged views on prospects for cooperation. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, received Speaker of Majlis Milli, Supreme Assembly of the National Parliament of the Republic of Tajikistan, Rustam Emomali.
President Ilham Aliyev expressed his confidence that the Speaker of the Majlis Milli of the Republic of Tajikistan, Rustam Emomali's visit would be fruitful and contribute to the strengthening of friendly relations between the two countries, emphasizing that Azerbaijan and Tajikistan enjoy close cooperation in a number of areas. The head of state underlined the importance of his contacts with Tajik President Emomali Rahmon and mutual support to each other. The head of state hailed the successful development of interparliamentary cooperation between the two countries, pointing out good prospects in economic, transport and investment spheres. Expressing his gratitude for the warm words, Speaker of the Majlis Milli, Supreme Assembly of the National Parliament of the Republic of Tajikistan, Rustam Emomali, first extended Tajik President Emomali Rahmon's greetings and best wishes to the President of Azerbaijan. Noting that an agreement on cooperation between the two countries' parliaments as well as sister city document of Baku and Dushanbe will be signed, Rustam Emomali described this as a good indicator of friendly relations. President Ilham Aliyev thanked for Emomali Rahmon greetings and asked the Speaker to extend his greetings to the Tajik President.
President Ilham Aliyev received in a video format Shahin Seydzadeh due to his appointment as chairman of the board of İçeri Şehir State Historical and Architectural Reserve.
Expressing hope that Shahin Seydzada will justify the great trust placed in him by his activities, President Ilham Aliyev said that İçerişehir is our national treasure, magnificent monument of the history of world architecture and a vivid example of the talent of Azerbaijani people. Noting that in many countries there are old city blocks, but there is nothing like İçerişehir in the whole world, the head of state stressed that this is our historical heritage which we must cherish like the apple of our eye. The head of state recalled that a few years ago, by his order, a special administrative mechanism was created in İçerişehir, and from an administrative point of view, it is an independent administrative unit which is part of Baku. Speaking about the beauty of Baku, President Ilham Aliyev noted that every guest who gets acquainted with the capital and İçerişehir is convinced of the greatness, antiquity and talent of our people, said that every corner of the old city is of a great importance, and this is not only an open-air museum but also a place where since ancient times people lived and live for the comfort of which a lot of work is being carried out and will be carried out. Stressing that İçerişehir is an attractive place for Baku residents, Azerbaijani citizens and foreign guests, the head of state said that given the large daily flow of people, work must be done here in such a way that people living there do not experience difficulties, and the right conditions need to be set up for the tourists. A lot of work has been done in this direction in recent years. The preservation of the historical appearance of İçerişehir is under my personal control. President Ilham Aliyev said and expressed confidence that under the leadership of Shahin Seydzada, the management of the state reserve will successfully fulfill new tasks. Speaking about the unique architectural ensemble of Baku, its geographical location on the Caspian shore, the head of state noted that ancient historical monuments and examples of modern architecture create a special aura in the capital, and every guest sees this unity of antiquity and modernity. Baku is growing, developing, and recently special attention is paid to the architecture of the city. There was a time when ugly, clumsy buildings sprouted like mushrooms in Baku. These ugly buildings, which do not meet any architectural norms and do not meet any architectural standards, unfortunately have changed the appearance of some parts of Baku for the worse. But lately there has been strict control in these matters, said President Ilham Aliyev, and stressed that all these issues are regulated by the state and the number of illegal buildings had significantly decreased, but there are still such cases. The head of state warned all departments, government agencies and entrepreneurs that this would not be allowed. I especially appeal to entrepreneurs. The pursuit of profit does not mean that we should spoil our unique city with ugly buildings. We will not allow this. We need to put an end to illegal construction, President Ilham Aliyev said, and stressed that all bodies controlling this issue, the Baku City Hall, heads of executive authorities of the districts of the capital, should take this very seriously. I am sure that henceforth Baku will develop on the basis of a single architectural concept, the head of state said. Noting that as a result of the measures taken recently, the architectural ensemble of Baku has become much healthier, the head of state said. Noting that as a result of the measures taken recently, the architectural ensemble of Baku has become much healthier, the head of state said. Today I would like to note once again that Baku is a unique city, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Everyone is talking about this, and for me, Baku is the most beautiful city in the world. Emphasizing that the city should develop, but systematically, President Ilham Aliyev noted that modern architecture should not violate the ancient and historical appearance of Baku. These two important factors should not contradict each other. On the contrary, the combination of antiquity and modernity, the special aura of Baku must be preserved, the head of state said, expressing confidence that we will achieve this. Therefore, the development of Baku and the principles of its management differ from other cities. Recalling that at the time Department of the İçerişehir State Historical and Architectural Reserve, the Boulevard Department were created, the head of state stressed that the Boulevard is also part of Baku, but this is a separate administrative unit because the Boulevard is also our national treasure. Noting that now the citizens of Azerbaijan, especially young people, probably do not remember and did not even see the state of the boulevard 10-15 years ago, a view that does not honor any city, President Ilham Aliyev said that we had extended the length of the boulevard 5 times and order reigns everywhere, because a special department had been created, the task of which is only to look after the boulevard, ensure its tightness and preserve it as a living organism. stressing that a special management mechanism had been created in Baku by his orders. Baku City, Çarşahar and Boulevard's restructures, the head of state noted that business ties exist between them and should be strengthened. Because a person who is in a Çarşahar or a local citizen or a guest leaving the ancient place and moving to the boulevard sees a completely new modern Baku. These factors are very important. The head of state emphasized that Şahin Seyyidzadeh needs to cooperate closely in his activities with these two structures. Noting that every corner of Baku is dear to us, the head of state expressed confidence that Baku will become an even more beautiful city, stressing that the buildings under construction in Baku, whether residential, public, commercial, or catering facilities, must meet the highest architectural taste. President İlham said that these works should be controlled by state structures so that Baku would only become more beautiful in the future. Emphasizing once again that Şahin Seyyidzadeh faces a big task, the head of state said that Çarşahar was our national treasure which we must protect and will protect.
Sizə işinizdə uğurlar arzulayıram.
Teşekkür ederim canım Prezident. İtimat gösterdiğiniz için.
That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.